A senior constable wept as she described to a court the bloody scene where a child had been shot in the head. Gustav Otto Sanft has denied a charge of manslaughter relating to the death of his 2-year-old daughter Amokura Daniels-Sanft and is on trial at the High Court in Auckland. Our court reporter Edward Gay filed this report and a warning the details may disturb some people.
Senior Constable Jackie Fife was in one of 2 police cars on their way to make an arrest in a fraud investigation when her car was waved down by a woman on Favona Road in Mangere on June the 2nd last year.
I ran past the lady and was confronted by a man holding a small child. He was covered in blood and there was a large pool of blood on the ground when I ran in.
Miss Fife said she approached the man who was making a howling noise.
My job was to check if that child was alive, so I went up to him further and I asked him to give me the child, but there was no response. So I looked at her. I didn't know it was a little girl, but I looked.
You don't need to describe the injuries. If you're on his content, perhaps I can just leave this witness that there was no sign of life.
No, she wasn't moving and she didn't have half of her head.
She said Constable Yutaro Kanai told her to get away and pushed her. A short time later, she noticed a car parked close by with 3 young children inside. She and another colleague covered the children's faces with their jackets and carried them down the driveway. When Miss Fife had finished giving her evidence, she left the courtroom and loud crying could be heard outside. Constable Yutaro Kanai also gave evidence. He said he noticed the blood as he came down the driveway and he stood by Mr. Sanft and put his arm on his shoulder.
In amongst the crying and wailing, I heard the defendant say, "I shot her."
He said eventually he convinced Mr. Sanft to put Amokura down and walk down the driveway. He said Mr. Sanft continued to talk while they sat in an ambulance.
So he said, "I pulled the trigger. She was just playing up. I'm sorry, my baby. My son, what have I done?" And he kept repeating that. "My son, what have I done? I shot her. What have I done?"
Under cross-examination, Mr. Kanai was asked by Mr. Sanft's lawyer Phil Hamlin if he could be mistaken about what his client had actually said.
But I've gone over this over and over and over in my head. What I saw that day and heard that day, I can't, as much as I want to forget it, I can't.
Another constable, Sepa R. Lamb, told the court she grabbed Amokura's mother, Julia Daniels, to stop her going down the driveway. Soon after, Constable Kanai brought Mr. Sanft towards where they were standing.
She yelled out to him, "What happened? What happened?" And then that's when he replied back, "I shot her, I shot her." And then that's when I grabbed her and then I held her to stop her from hearing anything else. And she was just screaming, "What?"
The trial's been set down for 3 weeks. Mo te hōtaka o te ahi ko Edward Gay ahau.